Hello, in today's video we will be looking at how to attempt completing the square questions for GCSE Maths. Let's look at our first question to see what we need to do. We've been given the quadratic equation x squared plus 6x plus 7. We need to write it in the form x plus p all squared plus q. How do we do this? Well, we need to use a method called completing the square. What that involves is taking the first two terms. We basically separate it by putting the square brackets around it so that we know what we're dealing with is inside the square brackets for now. And then write it out like this. We put in an x, since we know we need that. And then we put in plus half of the coefficient of x, which would be plus 3 in this case. And then, if we expand that out, x plus 3 times x plus 3, we get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now this part is already in our square brackets. This part isn't, meaning we need to take 9 away to balance it out. Then we can get rid of the square brackets, giving us x plus 3 all squared minus 9 plus 7. And finally, we can simplify this by collecting like terms, which gives us x plus 3 all squared minus 2. That's our answer. Now let's look at the second question. We've been given a similar quadratic equation, 4x squared minus 16x plus 11. This time our x squared has a coefficient as well. So this has been replicated with an a at the front of our given thing. So let's start by using the same method as before, putting the square brackets around the first two terms. To make things easier, what we need to do is take out the 4. Divide everything inside by 4, giving us x squared minus 4x, and then plus 11 on the outside. And then, in our brackets, we need x plus half of the coefficient, the x, in the original square brackets, giving us minus 2 squared, and then x minus 2 times x minus 2 is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. Meaning our plus 4 is extra, so we subtract 4, put it in the square brackets, add an 11 on the side. And then we remove the square brackets, meaning we multiply everything inside by 4 again, giving us 4x minus 2 all squared minus 16 plus 11, which then simplifies to 4x minus 2 all squared minus 5. Hence our answer. Now we've been given the quadratic equation x squared minus 6x minus 10 equals 0. But instead of being asked to write it in a given form, we need to solve it. And in this case, normal AC method won't work, where we multiply the coefficient of the x squared and this negative 10 and find two numbers that add to negative 6 and multiply to that. Instead, we need to complete the square. Let's use our method. We've got x squared minus 6x, which then gives us x minus 3 all squared. And then, referring back to our previous question, you'll notice that minus 2 times minus 2 gives us plus 4. And in the question before, plus 3 times plus 3 gives us plus 9. So all we need to do is square negative 3, which gives an answer of 9. So all we need to do is subtract 9. And then we throw on the minus 10 at the end, which overall equals 0. So if we remove the square brackets, we get x minus 3 all squared minus 19 equals 0. Then, in order to solve this, we need to try and isolate our x, giving us x minus 3 all squared equals 19. If we add 19 to both sides, then if we square root both sides, we get x minus 3 is equal to the square root of 19. However, it is important to remember that square roots have both a positive and a negative value. And then if we add 3 to both sides of our equation, we get x equals 3 plus or minus square root of 19. So there you go. That's our answer. Here's another similar question, this time again, but we have coefficient in front of the x squared. Let's write it out as per usual though. 3x squared plus 12x minus 18 equals 0. Square brackets. Take out the 3, giving us x squared plus 4x inside, minus 18 equals 0. Then we put that into the brackets, x plus 2, since 2 is half of 4, squared, and minus 4, since 2 squared is 4. And then we throw on our minus 18 at the end. Then we remove our square brackets, remembering to multiply everything by 3. Minus 12 minus 18 equals 0. Then we can remove the minus 12 and minus 18, just make it minus 30. Divide both sides by 3, give us x plus 2 squared minus 10 equals 0. Add 10 to both sides, x plus 2 all squared equals 10. Square root both sides, x plus 2 equals plus or minus root 10. And then subtract 2 from both sides to give us x equals negative 2 plus or minus root 10. Hence our answer. And the final type of question that we can get involving completing the square is finding the vertex. So if we sketch a quadratic curve here, this isn't x squared minus 4x plus 11, but just a generic quadratic. Our turning point would be this point here, lowest point in the equation. So even if the curve was like this, we'd have a turning point up here, highest point in the equation. What's different is that this equation would have a positive x squared. This equation would have a negative x squared. We need to remember that a negative x squared is like a negative 1x squared. It's a coefficient. So the curve we've been given here is x squared minus 4x plus 11. Put the square brackets around here. We've got x minus 2 all squared minus 4, since negative 2 squared is 4, giving us 4 extra, plus 11. Then we remove the square brackets to give us x minus 2 all squared plus 7. And that's where we stop. However, we need to find this point on the curve. So it's going to be coordinates. Our x term, first our y term is just this end bit, plus 7. But our x term, we need to find inside our brackets. It's not negative 2, but it's actually positive 2. So if it's negative 2 in the brackets, we put 2 here. But if it was positive 2 in the brackets, we put negative 2 in the coordinates. So the coordinates of the vertex, the curve x squared minus 4x plus 11 is 2, 7. Finally, here's a question for you to try yourself at home. Remember that negative x squared means negative 1 x squared. So all you need to do is take out negative 1 as a factor when you complete the square. And then leave what you think your answer is down below in the comments, and I'll tell you if you're correct. Finally, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found the video useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more similar videos.